Okay, good afternoon, Yumi, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What I'm going to do this afternoon, I'm going to go through assignment 2 again, and then Mrs. Tarosa and Mr. Kevin Smith are going to come in again to talk about some things for this afternoon session. But I understand quite a number of us will have some questions with regards to assignment 2. Then I'm going to talk about that, and then I'll let Mrs. Dr. Tarosa handle the rest of the session this afternoon. But before I go on to repeat myself with this assignment, I'd like to ask if there are any specific questions from each student, and then I can elaborate, build on that, and elaborate further on what the assignment really asks you to do. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to, ask me some of these questions, and then I can try and clarify some of the issues that you have with the assignment. Thank you.
Do you realize that the due date of the assignment is 1st of July?
What again see from our participant list here, we've got Dermato. You can hear us? Yes or no?
Yes, we are from Kawenu. We can hear you clearly. Thank you.
Diane, numbers.
Yes, I can hear you.
Daniel still. Dermato 12, sorry.
Yes. We
Lisa.
are Team Kawenu.
Oh, you're Team Kawenu. Team
Yeah.
Tana. Team Tana, can you hear me? Tana group. No, okay. So you've got any questions for the assignment 2 that we are asking you to work on?
You all okay?
Excuse me, I have a question I would like to ask. Regarding the assignment, on the assignment sheet, I've just want you to explain the research note sheet. There's a table there. Are we going to fill up the table, or the table is for us when we do the research and take the note, like usable statistics, usable codes, paraphrase, and comment?
Okay, thank you very much. That's very important, very good question too. Okay, the research sheet is just an additional help that we throw in for you to use. Many times for us, English as our second or third language, we kind of read things and then we forget of what we are reading in regards to answering the question. So what we did with the research sheet is to help you while reading. If you come across any statistics that you think are worthy of your presentation, then you take down those statistics in that column. And if you come across any quotes that you think that are going to help you in your presentation, then you do that in the other column. And you take down the details of the documents that you are reading. Because if you study the marking criteria, we have marks allocated to referencing, and we've also asked you to consult about 5 or more readings. So it's very important for you to show that in your presentation by be using some statistics from your reading or some quotes from your reading, or you paraphrase something that you read from the resources you use. So that is not going to be assessed, but it is put here to help you to prepare your notes for your presentation. So once you got the information down in the table with the details of the reading materials that you are using, then when it comes to writing, you can just consult your research sheet and extract information to the PowerPoint presentation that you are required to do. And when it comes to compiling your references at the back at the end of your PowerPoint presentation, you just go and collect information from the information sheet that we have provided, thinking it will make life easy for you. But if you have other methods of collecting your information and data, then you're most welcome to use it. But that's something that we put in there to help you with your compilation of information and data and whatever you want to use in your presentation a little bit more easy for you. So I think that's the purpose of putting that research sheet there. But it's something that we think might help you, but you do not have to submit it, or we're not taking any marks for the research sheet. Thank you. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I have another question.
Okay.
Regarding the assignment. So we are going to choose one topic from major 2 or major 3 or major 4. And then out from those topics, there are subtopics. We are going to choose one subtopic. And my question is, are there any guiding questions to help us write, or we just write about that particular subtopic and then do the presentation on it?
Okay. That's also a very good question, and I think that's the reason why I'm here again this afternoon. We structured the assignment to focus on meta topic 2, meta topic 3, meta topic 4. Okay, meta topic 2 it's early childhood and education. Meta topic 3, middle childhood, and meta topic 4 is adolescence. So you have to choose which meta topic you are going to look at. If you look at the lecture slides that we've uploaded on Moodle, you will see that during those different developmental stages, we discuss more or less the same development aspects in an individual, right from meta topic 2 to meta topic 3, which more or less, so we focus on developmental aspects. I mean by things like a child's cognitive development, biological development, socio and emotional development. So if you look at the lecture slides that we gave you, from meta topic 2 to meta topic 4, we look at these developmental aspects changes from early childhood to adolescence. Okay, so there is nothing new that we've thrown in there, but the different changes that happen in a child's life from early childhood to adolescence to do with cognitive changes, socio and emotional changes, physical changes on the child's body, and yes, and biological changes. So we are asking you to choose one of those topics and then one of the developmental aspects. I'll give you an example. Okay, if I want to work on early childhood, let's say I chose to work on early childhood, so I'm choosing meta topic 2, early childhood, to focus on it. And then from this meta topic, I'm just going to focus on a child's cognitive development. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that based on the lecture slides that we send you, with the readings that we send you, and other resources that you can source from libraries close to you or from the internet, I'm going to find out how I am going to, as a teacher, going to help a child develop cognitive skills in early childhood in a classroom situation in Vanuatu. Okay, And what we mean by teaching pedagogies, if you look at some of the early slides that we provide on during early childhood developmental stage, we've looked at a few theories there, but those that you've been taking EDPS112 as well, and you've looked at a lot of theories there. So for example, constructivism theory. So let's say I chose to work on early childhood and to look at cognitive development, and I think that in order to develop a child's cognitive development, I mean, constructivism is the best approach. Through constructivism, what are the teaching methods that we use to develop a child's cognitive development? Group work, or group presentation, or role play. So you use one of those methods and you explain yourself why you choose to use a constructivism theory to promote that, believing that it will help the child through, for example, if I chose a group work, it will help the child to stimulate their thinking capacities inside the group discussion by questioning their ideas and arguing about what they believe in. So it helps to develop a child's cognitive thinking skills. Okay, so you just write about that. I think this is the best approach that I'm going to use in order to stimulate the child to develop, to think, and in that manner it develops their cognitive thinking skills. Okay, so that's the kind of task that we are looking for. Okay, it's just one topic and it's just one developmental aspect in a child, not all of them, just one. If you want to look at cognitive development, look at just that. Or you want to look at social and emotional development, just focus on that. Or if you want to look at the child's biological development, you look at that. So, and then you write on that particular stage only. And the same thing you do if you choose to work on meta topic 3, or meta topic 4. So did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, Monsieur. Thank you.
Okay, so what we want to, just to add on a little bit of clarification here, what we want to do is that we have to get, these theories are the stepping stones of our teaching career. Many a times when we go inside the classroom and we get into the routine of doing the same thing over and over again, then we tend to miss out on the foundations of the best teaching approaches that we should take. And the reason why we want you to look at these different aspects of a child's developmental stages is, I'll give you an example. For example, when we look at cognitive development, we are looking at thinking processes that happen in a child. And mostly these thinking processes happen within a child's brain. Okay, but as a teacher today, we must not forget that that brain is in a human being, and that human being has feelings, and also that human being live in an environment. Those factors contribute to the way how a child think as well. And if you look at the current situation in our country today, we got quite a few incidences with our students because maybe we teachers focus mainly too much on the curriculum, and we forgot that these children that they sit inside the classroom, they are human beings like us. They are going through different stages in their developmental stages, and we must not forget that they have biological needs, they have social emotional challenges that are coming around, and we need to be mindful of those. In order to fully teach a human being, we must not forget the other development aspects of the students in our classroom. that's a little bit of a clarification of why we want you to look at these different developmental aspects. So many times we focus on the curriculum, which mainly deals with the child's cognitive development stage. Yes, that's a little bit of clarification. If there's any more questions, you can ask me again with regards to the assignment. There is one thing that I'd like to mention here too. Please go and study the marking criteria very carefully. We are not going to give you mark outside of the marking criteria. So you make sure you read the marking criteria very carefully and try to satisfy all the criteria that are in there, because those are the marks that are going to be allocated to you. Okay, so one marking criteria is for the video presentation and another is for the PowerPoint presentation. So look at them very carefully and try to satisfy all the requirements in there, because those are where your marks are going to be allocated. Thank you. Any more questions? Sorry? Kisel Edwin, you can hear us from Tana. Kisel? Mata Andrew? Mother Andrew, you can hear us? You can hear us, just say yes. So we know that you are listening to our presentation. You see, colleagues, these Zoom sessions, I mean, everything we've uploaded on Moodle already, but these Zoom sessions are for us to come talk virtually as human beings. So we need to hear from you, your responses. We can discuss things, so we know you can hear us, and if there is anything that we can assist you with, then we know what we can do to help you. Liza, you can hear us from Pentecost?
Excuse me, sir, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
These are talking. How about the others outside?
Regarding the slides, PowerPoint slides, are we going to put everything that we're going to say on the slides, or just a bullet point and then we elaborate on while we are talking?
For many of us who are teachers already, this is a PowerPoint presentation. So what you are going to send to us is what you want to present. Other additional information that you are going to, for your notes, you don't have to send them to us. We just want to see the PowerPoint slides that you prepared for your presentation. Any other additional notes? No. But again, look at the marking criteria very carefully. We've outlined, I mean, you don't have to write a lot of things on the slides. What I meant by many of us are teachers, because we are familiar of what presentation is. And I believe the criteria also guides us of what is needed to be included in the PowerPoint slides. Any other additional notes? You don't have to do that. On Microsoft PowerPoint, at the bottom there is spaces where you can do additional notes. But when you convert that to PDF and send it to us, it won't show. What will show is what you intend to present to your audience only. But don't worry about us missing anything because you are going to talk about your presentation. So we're going to listen and read your PowerPoint.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Anna is out. You can hear us. Muna.
Yes, thank you for
Any
your
questions?
introduction.
For those of you who just joined in, is there any, you want me to repeat the assignment again, or is there any additional questions that you'd like to ask? This season is recorded and I believe Dr. Tarosa and Mr. Tarzan are going to upload it later, so you can always have time to come and listen to the recordings at another time. But again, it's good for us to talk, interact virtually like this. So if you have any, if my explanations are not clear, you can ask me again. We can talk about it face to face, virtually like this, rather than listening to the audio and having some questions to ask, but we are not available at the time. Our time is going. It's 3:30. So if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Tarosa and Mr. Smith. No more questions, just saying yes, no, so we can move on. Everything clear for your assignment now?
Yeah, everything are clear. Thank you.
All
Thank
good
you. You
for
have a
now,
nice
okay?
afternoon. I'll hand over to Dr. Tarosa and Mr. Smith. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon.
It's 3:30. We will finish by 4. I just want to let us know that this is week 11. And according to our schedule for this course, what we uploaded supposed to be the last work that is uploaded for this course. So we have next week, week 12. We expect you to submit your MT for reflection. And we also expect you to submit your video because it's due on the 1st, which is next Friday. We feel that it might be too much for you to do both. So we are kind enough to extend another week for you. So your MP4, please put it into the Dropbox by next Friday. But your video that Mr. Takaro has just talked to you about will be due the following Friday. I hope that is clear, and I hope that is good enough. So it's going to be due week 13. Next week is week 12, so it's going to be due week 13, the 8th of July instead of the 1st. Are you happy?
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, neighbor. It's only our neighbor talking. All right, so yes.
Video is on 8th July, is it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So please take note, all of you, and we'll come out on the message to inform everyone, but it's recorded here. Those who have missed this Zoom session, hopefully they will come back to replay the recorded session and they will be told also. So not the 1st for you, but it's going to be the 8th of July. Reflection 4 is on the 1st, that is next Friday. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Yes, clear.
Okay. So that's a change to our submission dates. And then, so that's our major assessment because it's 40% assessment, which is going to be due on week 13. And then we have week 14 only and 15 for you to revise thoroughly for your test, your exam, final exam, which is another 40%. And then that will bring us to the end of the semester. Isn't it exciting that the semester is ending soon?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes. So it should be exciting. We should be working extra hard now because we're coming to the end. And we'll do all the assessment, and it's going to be the end of EDPS111 and EDPS112. And then you'll be ready to kickstart with the other two courses, I think, or 3 for next semester. All right. So yes, that's on that one. And although I'm excited that it's coming to the end, and there are those faithful ones who have been working hard. At the same time, as of last week, I still had those who message and say, oh, I've just started week 1. Oh, I cannot access any more weeks apart from week 1. So having to see things like that, it's not, I do not feel good about it because we are coming to the end and we have our colleagues who are still sending us emails and messaging us about this, what we have been going through since we started. And looks like we're coming to the end, and some are still with that. So please, to those of you who are there now, and to those of you who will be watching the recorded version of this live Zoom here, I would say you have this time until the exam time to try and pull your socks up and do whatever is required to do, because we cannot hold back time, okay? Semester 1 starts on a certain date and it ends on a certain date. So it's fair to everyone. You come in late, so what? But we cannot go beyond because you will have another semester to begin. So maybe I'll stop here and allow Mr. Smith if he has anything to say on that note, because it's week 11 and I am still receiving messages like that. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Do you have anything to say?
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Tarosa, for taking us through, and rightly so, Mr. Takaro, for the earlier session. I think, like what Dr. Tarosa had mentioned, it's interesting and it's intriguing that we get to the end of the semester, but then it's on our part as students, we also need to ensure that all the requirements are met in terms of assessments and what to complete and what not. And I think with the exam, it's a take-home exam. So we open book exam. So you will we will have time to sort of to run through very details regarding the exams. But let me just give you a heads up around that exam. It will give you the opportunity to sort of to digest what you've covered during the semester and then have that written in that exam. So there's always a high chance of students. We all learn differently, and some of us are very good with exams, and we've designed this in a way that those assessment techniques would cater for different types of learners in the classroom. So for those of us who are good in exams, probably this is an opportunity for you to pull up, if you like. If other assessments you kind of felt like you haven't done really well, okay, there's still an opportunity for you to pull up in that exams. So let me encourage you. There's always a reason to why people do things, and I think part of you studying is to improve what you do as teachers in the classroom, but then at the same time, these courses, we're hoping that it gives you an opportunity to learn and to embrace some of the theories and the principles that you could use or that we are using in our everyday classroom. So please feel free to talk to us. We can't, of course, we can't go back to week one and start addressing the stuff from week one. No, we can't address, if you're a latecomer, that it places us on a very critical position regarding what to do as far as the course is concerned, given that this is week 12, next week is week 13. We're just here to encourage you. Please find every means possible to complete the requirements, and especially the assigned activities for the week, and most importantly, the assessment that have been spaced out for you. Again, we would love to, we are more than happy to assist and to support you, but then you've got to be mindful of, when do you seek assistance? For example, if the assignment is due tomorrow and now you're asking for help today, I think and as teachers, I don't think that is a wise and helpful thing to do. We would like you to sort of pace out your task nicely, and I always use 3 weeks as a sort of a better time frame to work on an assignment before its due date. So if an assignment is due in 3 weeks from now, you start working on that assignment now. Having said that, like I said, you can reach us, you can email us, and we should be able to provide any further assistance as to the queries that you will raise. I think basically that's about what I wanted to say. All the best in the assignments and the reflections that are coming up. Also, assignment 2, it's a video presentation. All the best for that. Please have a look at the marking criteria and all that. What we'll be looking for when we mark the assignment. Familiarize yourself with the marking criteria before you submit that assignment. I think basically that's about what I want to say. Be encouraged. Okay, you've gone through, you've surviving thus far. So I also anticipate better days to come. So once we get through the system, you know your way around what to do with the platform and all that stuff. Then the second semester should be easy for you. Thank you so much.
Does anyone have any comment or any questions? I can see Tomoa, I can see Pentecost, Muna, Hannah. No questions or comments from your side? So for this afternoon, we have heard only from our neighbor.
Neighbor has one more question, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kevin Pamina from Kawenu School. I would like to
Good
ask about the assignments that we do and the examination. Is there a certain percentage for each of these? What is going to be the exam percentage, and then what is going to be the assignment percentage?
Okay, I'll answer you. We have the reflection that you do for all the MTs, the major topics. The reflection is 20% in total. So 5% for each reflection. That's why the number of words that is expected is limited because of that. So 20% for that, and then the video presentation, as I mentioned earlier on, it's your major assessment. Excuse me, assignment. It weighs 40%. So 40 and 20 gives us 60, sorry, and then another 40 for the exam. So that gives us a total of 100%.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, good.
Thank you, Pamina. Any more?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. Sorry.
Sana Group,
question-
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My question is specifically on the exams. So you will be providing us the topics or the subtopics to guide us on the exams, or this is just open, we just look through all the readings provided and we just study all the what you've been provided. So my question is, are you providing us some topics or some subtopics to specifically guide us on studying it? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once we get closer to sort of the end of the semester, the team will come in and talk to you about sort of the layout and the content of the exam. Okay, so we won't throw you in the dark. We'll basically give you directives around what meta topics or what is going to be covered in the exams. Given that within our learning outcomes, specific learning outcomes, and for this course we've done the assessment metrics and all that stuff, and we will, based on that mapping and metrics, to decide what the content should be. So don't worry. Well, once we get closer to the examination week, we will give you ample time to prepare, and we will run through all the details once we get closer. Any more questions before we go? All right, I take the silence as a no. Thank you for this afternoon. Thank you for your time, and again, congratulations to all of you who've been part of the Zoom discussion since week one. We appreciate the effort. We appreciate all the contribution and the discussions that you've chipped in making this session an interactive one. We're looking forward to more of this engagement as we move into the future, and all the best for the remaining weeks. Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Kevin.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Tana Group
Bye.
Kawenu.
Sana Group, bye semua.
and Central Group.
Central and going.
Bye, Kawan.
Bye.